Welcome to the Economic Development Commission. I'm Elaine Duzinski, President, Acting President. It appears we do have a quorum, so we can begin our discussion on the public hearing portion on Cityscape's proposed Fort Living project. Does it spin?
Yeah. I'm going to turn it this way for you. Ta-da.
Wonderful, thank you.
Good evening. I'm Ashley Bedell with Cityscape Residential, and we will be the developers of the Fort Living apartments that are before you tonight. If I can, I'd just like to give you kind of a brief overview of the project. Cityscape is a Indianapolis-based multifamily developer. We develop in both Indianapolis, Louisville, and Kansas City. Our partners have been in business over 30 years and have developed over $1 billion worth of multifamily units. And we're focused exclusively on Class A, institutional, fully amenitized communities. The project that we're proposing here is a 261-unit multifamily building that'll also include some garages. The units will be spread across 3 buildings, and those buildings will be will have 1, 2, and 3-bedroom units inside them, as well as our clubhouse. A lot of amenities in our clubhouse, be it a coffee bar for our residents, fitness room, kind of a wide variety of amenities. Our total project costs are anticipated to be $35.7 million, of which $29.7 will be direct construction hard costs. Based on our studies that we've worked with Crow on, that will create $23.7 million in new assessed value. The parcel is just grass today, so there's no buildings there right now. Also, during construction, we are anticipating that we'll employ around 140 construction workers, in addition to our management team of around 4 people managing the project. Once the project is complete, we'll have a staff of about 7, with an annual payroll around $350,000, plus additional contract employees that will handle things for us, such as maintenance and landscaping and additional services. And I think Mr. Donaldson can handle any technical questions on the bond issuance side.
Thank you.
Good evening. Bruce Donaldson with Barnes & Thornburg. We've been working as bond counsel on this for the Fort Harrison Reuse Authority and the city. The Reuse Authority actually met last night and took action to create a standalone tax increment finance district or area that just encompasses this project site. And some of you may be familiar with tax increment finance. This allows the new property taxes that will be generated from this project to be captured for a period of time by the Reuse Authority and used to help pay for some of the project costs. So the proposal that has come before the city and an ordinance has been introduced at the City Council. I think they're meeting tomorrow night. The Council Finance Committee, as well as the full council's meeting tomorrow to take this up after your recommendation. So the proposal is the city would issue a bond that the developer would actually buy, a maximum of $2.2 million. We think it's going to be about $2.125 million, I believe. The bond would be repaid from a pledge of 80% of these new property taxes that are generated from their project. There's no other source of repayment on the bond, so there's no risk to the city, or no city funds are at risk. No other revenues of the Reuse Authority are at risk, only the property taxes from this particular project, and only 80% of them. This has become a kind of a common way of supporting developer projects all around the state, really, where the developer is required to purchase their own bond. So in essence, the benefit they get is over time, as their project actually produces these property taxes, they get a benefit in the form of the debt service that's paid back over time on that bond. And again, it's an 80% pledge. So the statute that this bond is issued under requires the Economic Development Commission to have a public hearing and consider the resolution and report that are before you tonight. If you should pass this resolution, then it would go back, these recommendations to the city council for their meetings tomorrow night. And that would be the approval process for this particular financing. Happy to answer any questions.
Yes, how long will this go on, the TIF budget?
The bond, the final maturity of the bond would be February of 2034, so it's about a 14 or 15-year bond, I believe. Is that right? Yeah. And Angie Stino from Crow Horwath is, or Crow now, sorry. Crow has worked as the financial advisor for the Reuse Authority in the city, and if you have particular questions about the financing, she could answer those as well.
So you said 80% is being paid back by the increase in taxes, correct? Where's the other 20%?
The other 20% can be either retained by the Reuse Authority to be used for their general purposes, or the assessed value associated with that could be released back to the taxing units. And I'm not sure if the Reuse Authority's made a decision on that at this point.
And have you determined how long it's going to take before it's actually 2.2 is paid back in the increased taxes? About how long a time period?
Yeah, I think it's that February of 2034 would be the final maturity. Yeah.
Are there any other questions?
And I would say that you, because we did advertise a public hearing, should ask if there's any, if there's any public comment before you start taking action on the resolution.
Do we have anyone from the public that has a question? Okay, moving on.
We would just make a motion, to move to make a motion to approve the report and just spell that out.
So if there are no further questions from the board, I move to make a motion that we approve the report of the proposed financing.
I'd make a motion to approve.
We have a second? Same thing with the resolution.
Yes, the EDC resolution.
And I
Just make a motion.
we make a motion to approve the resolution approving the bonds and adopting the report.
Make a motion.
And we have a second?
Thank
Thank you.
That's it.
Okay.
We
Can we
have
pass
no
it around for
further-
signatures?
Yeah, if you have no other questions, then you can actually adjourn the meeting.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, well, we will recommend to the council for their consideration. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Meeting is adjourned.